caught my wife cheating with a colleague, and exposed her at a faculty mixer. What's up Reddit, long-time lurker, first-time poster. Never thought I'd be here dumping my life out like this, but here we are. I'm Ethan, married to Claire for 5 years. We met at the same college, not as students but at work. She's a physics professor, I run the maintenance department. Yeah, the guy fixing the leaky pipes and replacing busted windows. She always said she loved that I was down to earth and good with my hands. For the first few years, it was amazing. Claire was fiery in bed, laughed at my dumb jokes, bragged to her friends about how lucky she was. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. But something shifted around year 5. She started making little digs, like rolling her eyes when I mispronounced some academic word, or mocking me for not knowing about quantum mechanics. At first I laughed it off. But then she stopped inviting me to faculty parties altogether, saying, "You wouldn't fit in. There's nothing to talk about with you." That stung. At home, the coldness crept in. The woman who used to drag me to bed 3 times a week suddenly had papers to grade every night. The touches stopped. The kisses turned into pecks. I told myself marriages go through dry spells. But deep down, I knew something else was happening. And the way she started looking at me, like I was some embarrassing secret she couldn't wait to hide, that was the first crack that would eventually split my entire life open. The first time I knew something was off was a Tuesday night. I'd stayed late fixing a busted lock on the chemistry building and swung by Claire's office to surprise her with takeout. Her office light was on, but the door was cracked. I was about to knock when I heard it, her laugh. Not her polite professor laugh, but the low, breathy giggle she used to give me when I whispered something dirty in her ear. I froze. Through the crack, I saw her leaning against her desk, her blouse unbuttoned 1 button too far. And right in front of her was Dr. Daniel Pierce, the smug 40-year-old physics hotshot who loved reminding everyone he, almost, worked at MIT. He had his hand on her hip. She didn't move it away. Then she whispered, "Not here, someone could walk in." And he chuckled. That's what makes it exciting. I felt my stomach drop. My hands were sweating so bad I almost dropped the food bag. I backed away before they noticed, my heart pounding like I'd just run a marathon. Driving home, the takeout sat on the seat beside me, untouched. My head was spinning, but one image kept replaying, her blouse undone, her eyes sparkling in a way I hadn't seen in months. That look used to be mine. Now it belonged to him. I held it in for 2 days. 2 days of sitting across the dinner table, watching her scroll her phone with that smug little smile, while I tried not to explode. Finally I snapped. I said, "Claire, I went by your office Tuesday night. I saw you with Daniel." Her head jerked up, eyes wide for half a second, then she smirked. "You must have misinterpreted. We were just talking about a project." I told her I saw his hand on her hip. The way she laughed. The way she whispered. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd fall out. "Oh my God, Ethan! Do you hear yourself? You fix pipes and doors. You don't understand how academics joke around. That's just how colleagues bond." I stared at her. "With your blouse open?" That's when she got nasty. She slammed her phone down and said, "You're paranoid. No wonder I don't invite you to faculty events. You embarrass yourself. You're not smart enough to even get what we talk about, and now you're trying to drag me down with your insecurities." It was like she'd been saving that speech for months. Every word landed like a punch. I wanted to scream, to throw something. But instead I just walked out. Behind me, she muttered, "Grow up, Ethan. Not everything is about you." But in my gut I knew it was. I knew I hadn't imagined what I saw. And the fact that she was so quick to make me feel like garbage? That was almost worse than the cheating itself. After that fight, I felt like the dumbest man alive. I replayed her words on a loop. "You're not smart enough. You embarrass me. You don't understand." She said it so casually, like it was a fact written in stone. I stopped eating with her at the table. Stop trying to make jokes. At night, I'd lie next to her in bed while she graded papers on her laptop, the glow of the screen lighting up her face as she smirked at messages I couldn't see. The woman who once begged me to pull her closer now flinched when my hand brushed hers under the blanket. I couldn't focus at work. My guys, the crew that looked up to me, started asking if I was okay. I'd snap at them, then feel guilty. My brother Luke noticed too. He came by one night and found me sitting in the garage, staring at an old busted chair I couldn't bring myself to fix. "You look like hell," he said. I laughed, bitter. Maybe Claire's right. Maybe I am just the dumb maintenance guy. Maybe she deserves someone like Daniel. Luke's face hardened. "Don't you dare say that. You built half this damn campus with your hands. You think she can fix a heater or rewire a classroom? You're smart in ways she'll never be." I wanted to believe him. But every time I looked at Claire, I felt smaller. Like I wasn't a husband anymore, just a placeholder until she found the right kind of man. And the worst part? She had me convinced it was my fault. That was the beginning of the darkest spiral I've ever lived through. After weeks of spiraling, I woke up one night around 3 a.m. to the sound of Claire laughing softly in the living room. I crept to the doorway and saw her on FaceTime, whispering into her phone, hair down, wearing that silky robe she hadn't touched in months, the one she used to wear for me. She said, "I can't stop thinking about Tuesday. You're brilliant, Daniel." Then she pulled the robe just enough off her shoulder to tease him. That was it. The switch flipped. I wasn't going to be her dumb handyman puppet anymore. I wasn't going to sit here while she flaunted another man in my house. The next day, I started digging. Claire was sloppy. Her iPad synced to her messages. Within an hour, I had screenshots of hotel bookings, late-night sexts, even selfies she sent Daniel in lingerie I'd bought her. The texts made me sick. "Ethan doesn't get me the way you do. I feel alive with you, not stuck with him." It wasn't just physical. It was everything. She was rewriting our marriage as if I'd been nothing but a filler. But instead of confronting her right away, I got smart. I made backups. I printed copies. I tucked them away in a folder. She thought I was too dumb to catch her. Too simple to understand what was happening. But I wasn't going to scream or beg this time. I was going to wait. Watch. And then rip the mask off in the one place she thought she was untouchable, her precious faculty world. I started paying attention, the lies rolled in nonstop. Claire had this new habit of sighing dramatically and saying, "I have a late meeting with the department chair," while tossing on her best dress. I'd nod, but inside I was screaming, because the receipts in my folder said otherwise. That meeting was a $200 charge at the Hilton downtown. To my family, she put on an even nastier show. At Sunday dinner, my mom asked why we hadn't been around much, and Claire laughed. "Ethan doesn't really like to socialize. He's more of a fixer-upper type." She actually said that. Right in front of everyone. My dad tried to cover the awkwardness, but I caught the look in my sister Kelly's eyes, pity. Claire wanted me small, pathetic, easy to dismiss. And she didn't stop at family. One night I overheard her on the phone with a friend saying, "Sometimes I feel like I'm married beneath me. He's sweet, but he just doesn't challenge me. Daniel is on my level." I nearly punched a hole in the wall. The more she lied, the more arrogant she got. She strutted around like she was untouchable, like I was too dumb to notice, too weak to fight back. But what she didn't know, every smug laugh, every sneaky trip, every insult, it all went into my growing arsenal of evidence. She was digging her grave with her own words. And when the time came, I was going to make her lie in it. The deeper I dug, the worse it got. Every news screenshot was another gut punch. She didn't just cheat, she mocked me while doing it. In one text to Daniel, she wrote, "He thinks I'm at a faculty dinner, lol. Poor Ethan. He wouldn't even understand half the words we use." Another read, "Sometimes I feel embarrassed introducing him as my husband." People wonder how someone like me ended up with him. That one nearly finished me. For weeks I walked around like a zombie. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I'd wake up drenched in sweat from nightmares of her and Daniel laughing at me. My crew at work noticed. One guy asked if I was sick. I lied and said it was stress. At home, I avoided her. I'd work late, sleep on the couch, anything to not hear her casual cruelty. But the silence was worse, because it gave my brain space to replay every word she'd said. I started to believe her. Maybe I really wasn't enough. Maybe I was just the maintenance guy, good with tools but useless everywhere else. Maybe I deserved this. One night I sat in the garage staring at my toolbox, feeling like a shell of a man. Luke showed up, thank God for him, and found me there. He looked at the whiskey bottle beside me, then at my face, and said, "Ethan, she's trying to break you. Don't let her. You're not dumb. You're building her world while she tears yours down." Something about that hit me. I was broken, yeah? But I wasn't finished. And the next phase wasn't going to be despair. It was going to be revenge. Luke's words rattled around in my head for days. You're not dumb. You're building her world while she tears yours down. He was right. I wasn't some idiot side character in her glamorous little professor life. Without me, half that damn campus would fall apart. Without me, she wouldn't have a home to play queen of. And yet she treated me like I was beneath her. Like I was the embarrassment. That was the night I decided the embarrassment wasn't mine to carry anymore. I wasn't going to scream, or cry, or beg her to love me again. I was going to take everything she thought made her superior, her colleagues, her reputation, her intellect, and turn it against her. I spent nights after work compiling everything: hotel receipts, screenshots, audio clips of her late-night whispers to Daniel. Organized it like a case file, neat folders labeled with dates and times. Then I got bold. I volunteered to help with the AV system at the upcoming faculty mixer. Claire had been bragging about it for weeks, saying it was the social event of the semester. She was desperate to impress her colleagues, to show off. Perfect stage. Perfect audience. I pretended to be the dutiful husband again. I even told her I was proud of her, watched her beam like I'd handed her a crown. Meanwhile, I was sharpening the knife. She thought I was too stupid to understand what was happening. She had no idea I was about to make her choke on her own lies. The faculty mixer was scheduled for a Friday night in the big hall, the one with the ancient projector that never worked right. Usually that was my job to fix, so when I volunteered to set it up, no one thought twice. Claire was buzzing about it for days. Daniel's giving a presentation on his new paper. It's going to be groundbreaking. She said his name like it was dipped in honey. I smiled and nodded, all while setting up my little masterpiece. I spliced together a slideshow. The first few slides were harmless: faculty portraits, pictures from past mixers, a few cheesy stock images of equations. Just enough to look legit. But then came the bombshells. Screenshots of her text to Daniel. "You make me feel alive in a way Ethan never could." Hotel receipts under her name, with time stamps that lined up with her department meetings. And finally, one of the lingerie selfies she'd sent him, smiling in the mirror with my wedding ring on her finger. I timed it so the slides would play after Daniel finished his presentation, when the applause died down and all eyes were still on the screen. To cover myself, I programmed it to look like a projector glitch. A few seconds of static, then the secret slideshow would kick in. By the time anyone figured it out, the damage would already be done. All I had to do was sit back, pretend to fiddle with cables, and let Claire's empire collapse around her. She wanted me to feel small. She wanted me to feel dumb. But soon, in front of her precious colleagues, she was going to feel naked. And I couldn't wait to watch. The mixer was in full swing. Faculty mingling with wine glasses, Claire floating around in a sleek black dress like she was royalty. Every time she laughed at one of Daniel's jokes, I clenched my jaw, but I kept my game face on. Just the help, fiddling with wires in the back. Daniel wrapped up his talk, basking in polite applause. Claire stood near the front, glowing like she owned the room. And then the projector glitched. Static flickered. People murmured. Then the first slide popped up. "You make me feel alive in a way Ethan never could, Claire." A few chuckles at first, confused looks. Then the next slide, the Hilton receipt. Her name. A timestamp. Whispers. Heads turning. Claire's smile faltered. Then came the lingerie selfie. My ring on her finger. Her eyes sparkling in that way she hadn't looked at me in months. The room went dead silent. Daniel's wife, yes, he was married, gasped so loud it echoed. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, tears streaming. Professors shifted uncomfortably, some glaring at Claire, others at Daniel. Claire bolted forward, shrieking. "Turn it off! Ethan, turn it off!" I held up my hands. "Must be a glitch," I said evenly. "Projector must have picked up the wrong folder." Gasps turned into laughter. Not the funny kind, the cruel, whispered laughter of colleagues smelling blood. Claire's face was crimson, eyes darting around the room like a trapped animal. Daniel muttered something about privacy and tried to leave, but 3 different professors stopped him, demanding answers. For once, I didn't feel dumb. I felt like the smartest man in the room. And watching her crumble in front of the people she'd chosen over me? That was better than any revenge I'd ever imagined. The mixer ended in chaos. Claire stormed out before the night was over, tears streaking her makeup. Daniel tried to slink away quietly, but not before half the faculty committee cornered him with questions. The next morning, the whispers had already spread across campus like wildfire. Professors are gossip hounds. Nothing gets around faster than scandal. By Monday, Claire was the hot topic in the staff lounge. I heard it secondhand from one of the custodians who overheard. "Apparently Claire's been playing faculty mattress with Pierce. Poor Ethan. Guess she thought no one would notice." Her reputation tanked almost overnight. She went from being Professor Claire, brilliant physicist, to the woman who blew up her marriage for Pierce. Students whispered. Colleagues avoided her. The department chair had a quiet talk with her about professionalism. Daniel? His wife filed for divorce within the week. I heard she threw his clothes out on the lawn. At work, he walked around like a ghost, his smug grin gone. At home, Claire tried one last round of gaslighting. She cornered me in the kitchen and hissed, "Do you realize what you've done? You've ruined my career." I just looked at her and said, "No, Claire. You ruined it. I just showed them the truth." She had no comeback. Just this hollow, hateful glare. The irony? For years she was embarrassed to be seen with me, the dumb maintenance guy. But now she was the joke. Not me. And honestly, that taste of justice was better than any apology she could have given me. After the mixer, Claire's whole world caved in. Her colleagues stopped inviting her to faculty dinners. Students whispered when she walked into lecture. Even her own department treated her like a liability. The woman who once strutted across campus like she owned it now kept her head down, scurrying to her car after classes. At home, she was venom. One night she snapped, "Do you know what it's like to have people look at you like you're trash?" I couldn't help it, I laughed. "Yeah, Claire. I know exactly what that feels like. You gave me that look for years." Her family wasn't much kinder. Her mom called me privately and said, "Ethan, I'm so sorry. I raised her better than this." I almost felt bad, almost. But then I remembered Claire bragging about how I wasn't on her level. And Daniel? Gone. He didn't save her. Didn't fight for her. He slunk off into divorce court, leaving Claire with nothing but a wrecked marriage and a shattered reputation. She tried to crawl back once. Late one night she said, "We can get past this, Ethan. You and me, we're stronger than this mess." I looked her dead in the eye and said, "No, Claire. I was strong. You were just cruel." That was the moment she realized she'd lost me. Not just the house, the marriage, or the colleagues' respect. She'd lost the man she thought she could step on forever. And I swear, for the first time in years, I actually felt taller than her. I'd been carrying divorce papers in my truck for weeks, just waiting for the right time. After that night when she begged to work it out, I knew it was time to pull the trigger. The next morning, I slid the papers across the kitchen table. She blinked at them like she didn't understand English. "What is this?" she asked, her voice cracking. "It's freedom," I said flatly. "Yours and mine." She tried every angle. Tears. Rage. Even laughter. "You think you'll do better than me? You're just a maintenance guy. Who's gonna want you?" That one stung, but not for long. Because I'd already realized the truth, it wasn't about who would want me. It was about who I wanted to be. And I didn't want to be the man chained to her poison anymore. The divorce went faster than I expected. My lawyer said the evidence made it open and shut. She got nothing, no alimony, no house, nothing but her half of the debt. The judge looked at her with the same disappointment I used to feel, and I'll never forget that. The day it was finalized, I walked out of the courthouse with my brother Luke. He clapped me on the back and said, "You're free, man. Don't waste it." I went home, cracked a beer, sat in the living room that was now mine alone, and just let the silence wrap around me. It wasn't joy yet. Not even peace. But it was something close. And for the first time in years I knew I wasn't the fool in the story anymore. I was the one who ended it. After the divorce, the first thing I did was gut the house. Everything that smelled like her, gone. Her books, her perfume bottles, even that ugly abstract painting she swore was intellectually stimulating. Out to the curb. Then I turned inward. I started going to the gym again, partly to burn off the rage, partly to remind myself I wasn't the soft, broken guy she tried to make me believe I was. Within a few months, I could see the change. Shoulders broader. Guts smaller. Confidence inching back. I also signed up for night classes, not in physics or anything to prove her wrong, but in electrical engineering. Something practical, something that built on what I already loved, fixing things. Sitting in that classroom, pen in hand, surrounded by 20-somethings, I felt alive again. Not dumb. Not beneath anyone. Just me, learning, growing. Family rallied around me. My mom called me every week just to check in. My sister Kelly invited me over constantly, making sure I wasn't alone. Luke dragged me on fishing trips. And instead of pity, I saw pride in their eyes. Slowly, I started laughing again. Music in the garage, cold beers with the crew, hiking on weekends. Life didn't feel like a punishment anymore. And for the first time, I realized Claire hadn't taken anything from me I couldn't rebuild. She thought she destroyed me. But really, she just cleared the space I needed to start over. It's been a little over a year since the professor and the maintenance guy marriage went up in flames. Claire? Last I heard, she's still at the college, but she's a ghost of who she used to be. No more strutting around like royalty. She eats lunch alone, avoids eye contact in the hallways. Daniel transferred to another university, dragging his mess with him. They don't even talk anymore. Me? I finished my first set of engineering courses. I've been promoted at work, running not just the maintenance team but the entire facility's operations. I've got a crew of 20 guys under me now, and the respect I see in their faces is something Claire could never buy with her PhD. And here's the kicker, I've started dating again. A woman named Jenna, a nurse. She's smart, yeah, but more importantly she's kind. She listens when I talk, even about dumb things like the best way to patch drywall. She makes me feel seen in a way Claire never did. Looking back, the betrayal still stings sometimes. I'd be lying if I said it doesn't. But now I see it for what it was, her weakness, not mine. She needed someone to look down on to feel big. And the lesson? Never let someone convince you that your worth is measured by their standards. I wasn't dumb. I wasn't beneath her. I was just a man who loved the wrong woman. Claire tried to make me small. But in the end, I outgrew her. And honestly, that's the best revenge I could have asked for. I have many other stories. Go to my channel, subscribe so you don't lose us. Give me a thumbs up.